Hello, my beautiful children, and welcome back to the Sex, Drugs, and Jesus podcast. My name is Devan Serafino, and we are here today to talk about Earth signs. We're going to go over the three stages of evolution for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And as we continue this astrological journey that we're on, the previous episode were the water signs. Before that, we did the fire signs. Then before that, we did like a general layout of everything that's going to be talked about and gave some definitions to things like what deacons are, to what modalities are, and we gave history of the zodiac and different things like that about 3 episodes ago. And so if you're interested in that, I would go check that out. The website is sexdrugsandjesus.com. On there is interesting resources for mental health, for LGBTQ issues and concerns. There's religious and spiritual lessons, not really so religious, but spiritual lessons. There's an interesting blog that I keep on there. And also we have a recommendations tab at the bottom of the Sex, Drugs, and Jesus website that has like recommendations, like 3 websites. One of them is down under apparel, my lingerie website. Another one is a new website I added called Techno Queers, which a friend of mine runs here out of Brooklyn, which has interesting things about the nightlife scene in and around the New York City area. And then just whatever else I find to be interesting will end up down at the bottom of the Sex, Drugs, and Jesus website page. Also over on our YouTube channel, which is Sex, Drugs, and Jesus podcast, we have interesting playlists that we put there. There's like something for psychonaut visuals. I'm in the process of adding to LSD inspired videos on there. There's fitness videos that a fitness playlist I've put on there. Things for your inner child, help for divine masculines. There's a lot of them. I have a Zodiac playlist, we have a tarot playlist. So when you get a chance, check out our YouTube channel. That's where we have our largest following. And if you're watching there right now, thank you so much. Hugs and kisses, thoughts and prayers, XOXO. Love you, mean it. So let's get right into these earth signs here. I want to talk about, just before I get directly into the earth signs, the feminine and masculine aspects of the zodiac. I don't really like to linger on this too much because everything is so mutable when it comes to masculine and feminine energy. It's more about understanding that we all possess both of them and how to will them at will and to command that essence within yourself. A large part of our journey and a large reason why a lot of people are not in balance is because they do not embrace both their masculine and feminine sides to the fullest extent possible. That's why we have so much toxic masculinity. And that's why people's relationships can't work out, because people are not within true divine union within themselves. Everybody's got a little bit of male, a little bit of female in them. No matter if you're gay, straight, bi, trans, male, whatever, you still got both. And it's up to you to sort out, how you feel about that and be okay with that. However, each zodiac sign has like an express masculine or feminine energy to it. It has nothing to do with anatomy. And it really matters when you get into like the planetary houses, like when this, planet is in the sign of this, it matters in terms of forecasting the future, talking about what's going on right now, what has happened in the past. So I'll just read this from spiritdaughter.com and then we'll take it from there. The feminine signs of the zodiac are Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. The feminine or nocturnal or yin energies are the earth and water signs. It's an attuned energy that helps us connect with our intuition and with our softness. Feminine energy is what rules the moon. It is being energy and helps us receive. The receptive energy uses intuition and feeling for guidance. Feminine energy helps us surrender to the natural rhythm of life rather than try to control it. Feminine zodiac signs are more receptive and subtle in their influence. They affect our inner world, including our feelings and our intuition. When a planet falls in a feminine sign, it takes on an inward quality. For instance, Uranus, if it were positioned in Taurus, which is a feminine sign, Uranus is the planet of change and individuality. In Taurus, Uranus helps us break through old paradigms by aligning with our feminine qualities like abundance and intuition. The masculine or diurnal or yang astrological signs are Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. These signs help us ourselves express ourselves to the world. These are our air and our fire signs. They help us extrovert our energy and interact with others in meaningful exchanges. They also help us interact with our surroundings and enter situations objectively, putting our subjective reality aside. When a planet is in a masculine sign, it takes on this outward energy. So there's benefits to masculinity and femininity. This is not saying one is better than the other. It's about the fact that we've been given that much more power than what we realize, because it is a strength to know when to go within, and it's another strength to go when to go without. As King Solomon said, there is a time for everything, a time to be born, a time to die, a time for peace, a time for war, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, time to go within, a time to go without. What is what we're trying to tell you here today. So we'll probably bring this back up again when I get into the planetary houses and shows to come soon as I break that down for you. But masculinity and femininity are important. So really be praying and meditating and asking yourself the truth. Are you really in divine union with yourself? I think I spoke about this, I think in like, gosh, I think maybe in the water sign, a fire sign episode, of how I wasn't truly in divine union with myself because of how I had shielded and hid my masculine side because of all the abuse growing up. A relation I never would have been able to really prosper in a romantic relationship with like my inner child and my masculine side locked up like that. Because we cannot fully show up for anybody if we got parts of us that are hidden or not fully acknowledged. We can go through motions. It's just about anything, but that don't mean it's real or that's authentic or that it's gonna have the foundation it needs to last if we haven't told ourselves the whole truth on the inside. Or do this, we gotta spend time alone, get away from the crowd, stop feeling like we gotta be around people all the time. We're always doing something. We have to sit still and let ourself catch up to ourself or to look within ourself to know ourself. Because we do need to know thyself before you can know anybody else. Let's talk about the earth signs. They are rooted and grounded in their approach to life and encourage others to follow suit. Their work, finances, and lifestyle reflect their groundedness back to them, and they truly are the type that will work hard in order to play even harder. I'm reading this from glamour.com. Earth signs bring a practical approach to life, wanting the facts and answers before making any big decisions. They are forthcoming and expect the same from those around them, struggling to get along with people who are chaotic, disruptive, irresponsible, or unreliable. Although this doesn't mean that they themselves are immune to these behaviors. You'll be hard pressed to find a Virgo without a full calendar, a Capricorn without a detailed 5-year plan, or a Taurus without a set of beliefs that they've held onto since their childhood. These folks know how to dedicate themselves to something and they are not unfamiliar with holding on to a grudge. From thecut.com, and all these websites will be in the show notes. I pulled from like an incredible amount of show notes to pull all of this together. I'm sorry, I pulled from an incredible amount of websites to pull all of this together. It'll go in the show notes. Unlike the other elements of the zodiac, the earth signs Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are real, corporeal. Think about the stuff that emerges from the earth: precious stones, harvest clay. It has tangible value in the material world. We can touch it, we can build with it, we can share it. The physical world exists beyond our personal psyche as something we can actually rely on in a non existential way. And the earth signs show up for others in a real flesh and blood kind of way. Traditionally, the element of earth has always been concerned with matter itself, the biology of human existence, fertility, and life creation than all terrestrial matters. Earth speaks to structure, connection to our physical bodies, and engagement with the broader world, the real world, or the 3D world, if you want to call it that, the one that exists beyond memes and simulacra. Earth is nature's limitless wisdom, divine landscapes, and plant medicine that nurture on both the physical and spiritual level. Earth takes care of us. Again, the three earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, each of which explores a different dimension of the earth element. Taurus dates are April 20th to May 20th. The popular symbol for Taurus is the bull. Modality fixed. Ruling house, the second house of finances. In astrology, the second house, which is also called house of value, is all about possessions, money, material things, earning, and expenditures. It signifies the way someone attracts or repels money, and also the way that he or she chooses to spend it. He, she, or they, it's all good here. Sex, drugs, and Jesus. One's values on ownership is also expressed here, as well as one's system of values. The second house is traditionally ruled by Taurus and its ruling planet, Venus. More specifically, the second house rules everything that involves one's financial standing. Liquid assets fall into this category, while one's houses and land are ruled by other houses in the natal chart. Natal chart is your birth chart. The second house does not only express the personal assets of the natal chart owner, but also their feelings towards those assets. After all, the feelings we have towards material things create the drive and motivations that we have when it comes to earning or spending them in the first place. As stated, ruling planet Venus, the tarot card related to the sign of Taurus is the Hierophant, which is our teacher. I so look forward to going over each and every last tarot card with you all. It is some juicy stuff right there. Okay, let's get sexy with it now. The body part is the neck. And this is from HuffPost. Symbolized by the bull, the earth sign is said to love a gentle neck caress, darlings. If a Taurus had written that song from back in the day, my neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack, it would have gone something more along the lines of my neck, lick my neck. Whoa, avoid my crack. Just go back to my neck. Continuing the fuck on. A spontaneous neck rub is a surefire way to have your Taurian lover sing red in a good way. And then the I've been aware of the different body parts associated with each zodiac sign for a while, but it was so fucking funny to come across this website, which I would have put in the show notes that came at it from such like a sexual way. Because I was, still pretty used to it being like, neck, and this means this spiritually and that. So that website was just like, okay, we're gonna have us some hot ass sex by using these by using these erogenous zones, which is totally valid, is also still fucking spiritual. When you learn your sexual alchemy and transmutation and you understand your partner's zodiac sign, I would also lean into this as well. And use that to your advantage and to enhance what you can do with your sexual transmutation and alchemy. Lean into that. Make it work. Because really magic works like once you get the foundations of it and the basics, this, that, this element, that element, there's no limit to the way that you can do it. You can write your own spells, you can come up with them on the fly. It's all about your intention and your connection with the divine and your understanding what the fuck works where. But there's no one person who can do it or one way it can be done. And that's why anybody is really magical. Magic is very subconscious anyway. Magical people are just actually doing it intentionally, but everybody's magical, at least to a smidgen of a degree. The stages of life for Taurus are the bull, which is also known as resilience, the minotaur, which is also known as divine loneliness, the demigod, which is also known as creativity. When we get to demigod, I'm going to talk about my opinion on how people like to refer to themselves as gods or what the fuck ever, and issue you a warning against that. But I said just a second ago about people perhaps having at least a smidgen of magic in them. You It's about what you acknowledge. We are all very magical, but it's like some people will seem to be like closed off to it. Even if you have to your knowledge about a spark or a smidgen, If you choose to, you can grow and expand in your spirituality. It's not just for certain people or for certain signs. So I kind of want to walk that back a little bit. When I say you might not be so magical or just have a smidgen of it, it's about your awareness of it. Like I wasn't really born with a natural gift to be good with finances. I had to grow in that and became good at finances. I was born with a natural gift for spirituality. So that came more naturally to me. But so you may have been born with a gift for finances, been good with that shit all your life, or with physical fitness or whatever. That doesn't mean that you cannot become strong and magical. But this is the beauty of what God has done is he's given certain people strengths and certain people things they got to grow in because we all have to have some sort of resistance in order to feel a sense of achievement and accomplishment and to grow and be able to quantifiably track the sort of growth that we've had. If we were all good at every damn thing from birth, and what would be the point of living? So let's not be sad or depressed about something we're not good at. And let's for fuck sure not look at somebody else and wish we had what they had. No, 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 no. Let us be on our own path, on our own journey, and be thankful for what we're not good at because it gives us an opportunity to achieve. Taurus's first stage, the bull, resilience. Let me read this. The bull is a sacred symbol, and this is from Your Tango. Again, it will be in the show notes, yourtango.com. The bull is a sacred symbol, often depicting strength, steadfastness, Lord Jesus, let me slow the fuck down. Strength, steadfastness, and even single-mindedness. Think of the bull. It doesn't often contemplate which direction it should go in, but only rushes forward regardless of if it's at peril or not. This is the lesson of the first stage of Taurus, as they often meet all sorts of obstacles and barriers simply because they rushed ahead and tried to force their will upon others. Only once they can see that if they can't make life or those around them bend to their will, do they enter into their next phase where they have the face of their darkness. What is that saying? Wise men said only fools rush in, and you can't force nobody to do anything. The thing with life is to try to gain mastery of yourself, not everybody else around you. The next stage is the Minotaur, the half animal, a half beast creature that spent its life in the darkness is symbolic of not seeing the effect your behavior has had on those around you. Whether your family or friends, it's not your will or even stubbornness that they need, but your intelligence and your presence. Often during this phase, you are plunged into darkness, oftentimes alone, feeling defeated by life and not understanding why, with good intentions, you are still facing what feels like only difficulties. Only once you enter into this divine loneliness will you understand that the prison you're in is one of your own creations, which leads you to see you can always leave and which propels you into the third life phase. I love how that says divine isolation. You see, when we're never really alone, there's so many spirits and beings, in the background, and the spirit world is very real. It's very permanent and it's very more real than this one. We're never really alone. That's why everything we say, everything we do is recorded, in books before God. We are not ever alone, which is a beautiful thing because you wouldn't want to be left alone. There's certain malevolent forces that would rip you to pieces if you were just like actually fucking really, really alone all the time. But divine isolation is when we get the fuck away from people, like I was saying a bit of this episode, and listen to ourselves. We integrate experiences that we've had, spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, whatever it may be, and learn from it. You got to get quiet. You got to get away from people. You have to, even if you live with a bunch of people and go for a walk and sit in the damn park some fucking where, or just schedule it, travel by yourself. You gotta do something. We gotta really, really learn to get comfortable in our own fucking skin. And really love to be by ourselves more than we love to be around anybody else. No, it's not balanced to love to be with your partner, your children, your cats more than yourself. No, when you have got to love yourself before any of those other people because how the fuck can you show up for them if you don't? And divine isolation is when you know that you have God there and you're not just sitting there and being quiet is a good thing, but talk to God, the divine as you describe it, invite them into your mind, into your problems, into your circumstances, into your celebrations and your victories, and use that divine isolation to strengthen your relationship with the one who you will stand before one day, who you even really are before now. It's just a matter of acknowledging that, let that knowledge rise within you. The demigod is the third phase of Taurus. And so my problem with the way this goes, it's like sometimes, and especially in esoteric circles, I will hear people refer to themselves as gods and goddesses. I even heard one tarot reader refer to her son. She was like, "I'm raising a god." Me personally, what I believe in the Hebrew Bible, Jesus Christ was saying how in the resurrection, after everything's all went up and end of the world, after Armageddon, apocalypse, all that, he said, "In the resurrection, we shall be as unto the angels." And in the book of Psalms, I believe it was David who was writing and saying that we were made a little lower than the angels. So are we part divinity? Absolutely. Do we have God within us? Well, of course, because he made us. But we are not God. We can be angelic. I'm all here for earth angel. I myself carry a very high celestial zest about me. I'm very strongly connected with angels and I'm very angelic, like in my energy and in my flow, because that is who and what I am. But I am also yet human. And therefore, I ain't God. And even once I transition into my full angel form, I still won't be a God. All right. The lower deities that exist do not worship God. They exalt themselves against Yahweh. And so you got to get clear on who and what you believe in. So if you don't fuck with Jesus Christ or God, then what I'm saying right now, you won't give a fuck about. However, there are some people who will like on one hand be like, "Yay, Jesus," and then be like, "I'm a God." It don't work that way. You don't work that way. You know, you cannot. And the way God talks about other gods, strictly speaking in the Hebrew, in Christianity and worshiping God, all these other gods are God's children. And in the Hebrew Bible, it says things like, you are gods and you're all children of the Most High. I'm like, God actually refers to these other beings, fallen angels, whatever, however you choose to believe, as God. So they're really in disagreement on that, but they don't. There is disagreement about trying to act like God is not supreme over lower deities. I believe that he is, because every bout of witchcraft that I've had to fight with the people using their gods to try to attack me, it was Yahweh who came and delivered me from the hands of those gods. All right? And I've had to deal with that all my life since before I was born. And then the Hebrew scripture says things like, "And ye are gods, and you are children of the Most High," referring to lower deities, "but ye shall die as men." And it talks about how people who worship and pray to these lower gods who are all the enemies of gods. It says things like how these people's bodies shall be slain and laid upon the corpses of their idols. I'm telling you, you better be careful fucking around with all of these different deities and getting this idea in your head that you want to become one. Now, I get that we want to feel better. We'd have been fucked over and abused and shit like that. And we want to feel we have value. We want to be a part of the celestial force, and we are. We do co-create with the divine, but that does not make us have just as strong of an expression as God. I don't understand why people can't just be happy with becoming an angel. Why do you have to be a fucking God as well? And and even in this human form, we can't even be God like that. The prophets of old could call down fire from heaven, open and close the heavens at will to make it rain or not, call for famine and all kinds of shit, pestilence and whatnot. That kind of power, I have not seen that it manifests in a human in this earth in this day's time. But even those people back then who God was close with and dealt with that manifestedly, in this earth would not have dared refer to themselves as a god, because to be able to wield that kind of power, for God to wield it through you, is frightening. It's very, very, very frightening. Like some of the visions that I've had and the presences that I've been visited with, when you really come into a manifest presence of God, it's humbling. I just kind of like put my head down and things, and you read about this in the Hebrew Bible when like when say Gabriel appeared to Daniel, I mean, he fell on his face and a certain angel appear to us, we just fall down because to really be in a strong manifest presence of God, it just strips you and it just makes you so like aware of how much you're not in that moment. And then the last thing that you would do is try to act like you God's equal or to act like you're even a God at all. Cause really in God's presence, you like it can just make you feel so like stripped of everything. Not it's like, but at the same time, you feel like his life at the same time. And but in the scripture, it talks about how the angels had to strengthen people to even stand in the presence of an angel. And then I mean, can you imagine trying to stand in the presence of God and try to act like you're God? And so be careful how you say that. God is manifestation. He is creation. He can create something with this with his word. He doesn't even have to snap a finger. All he has to do is will it to be, and it will happen instantly, or it can take time because he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Whatever the fuck he wants to do it. God is a God of process. So some stuff he does instantly, some stuff he lets it go through its process. It just depends on his wisdom and his overall plan. We have to manifest shit, pray for it, have faith for it to happen, and then eventually it happens. That is not God-like power. To go through all of these things and having to need a tarot cards and divination and all of these things. It's beautiful, but it's more of a process. All of this knowledge is laid out before God instantaneously. He's quick with it. In my dreams and in visions and things like that, I've seen angels fight devils move so damn fast that you wouldn't fucking believe how quick an angel can move. And then the devils, they just kick their ass so fast. The devils, it's like they kind of blink their eyes and they don't understand what is happening. Because those angels are imbued with just like a dose of God's power to go and do that, to be able to act like that. Honey, mm, that's an angel, moving that fast. So I just and it's such a cliche thing that I'm beginning to hear more and more in esoteric circles, that when I came across this in this definition, I just thought I would drop this warning on you. I know we want to feel like we powerful and we got it going on and that we're special. You already are. But be careful how you refer to yourself as a god or a goddess, because you could subconsciously train yourself to worship God less sincerely than what you should in your mind and in your heart by repeating that to yourself. Because the more you believe that you're God, then subtly, even if it's subconsciously consciously so, the less and less you might come to truly rely on the Lord, not in lip service, but in your soul. Because if you're a God, then what the fuck do you really need God for? Anyway, the description of this demigod of the Taurus says once, or let me see, it's also known as creativity. The demigod, also known as creativity. Once you realize that the darkness you were lost within was one of your own creations, you then use the strength of your will and mind to create something new. This is because you are now able to rise into the divine being that you were born to be. You are able to harness those powers and qualities for good now, which means that your presence in the lives of those around you will be seen as needed and necessary. You will truly look at life from a more divine space of purpose and will live your life trusting the flow around you, no longer needing to force your will. By having faced your darkness, I just thought I'd say that twice. You truly have transformed yourself and your life so that while nothing will ever be perfect, you are now able to see the beauty within it all. And so it's all about perspective. And look, you can't never force help upon anybody. A lot of my ministry, what I do is offer people options. I can see what's going on with them and I can see what they need to do to change. But all I can do is be like, I recommend X, Y, and B. What the fuck do you want to do? The people need to feel like they have agency and a sense of autonomy and say so in the things that they choose. It doesn't matter what kind of problems they're going through. They need to understand that they made that choice themselves. That way, when their deliverance comes, they know that it was due to a decision that they made. This is necessary. This is necessary. Moving on to Virgo. Virgo's dates are August 23rd through September 22nd. Popular symbol is the maiden, modality, mutable, ruling house, the sixth house of health. The sixth house of a natal chart is generally ruled by the Virgo zodiac sign and planet Mercury. The aspects of life and the aspects of life that the sixth house alludes to involve one's work, well-being, individual cleanliness, daily schedules, and duties. The sixth house rules work out of necessity. The sixth house uncovers what kind of work that a person does, but not his or her true career. The types of employment implied in the sixth house are those that are done but out of necessity, regardless whether the individual enjoys the job or not. If unfortunate aspects happen to apply to planets that are placed in this house, the individual can generally be constrained by life to follow the path where they would need to work these occupations. Again, the ruling planet is Mercury, and the tarot card associated with the sign of Virgo is the Hermit. The body part is the stomach or waist. Virgos are the type of people who may genuinely like lower stomach tattoos. That's because the stomach and waistline are some of Virgo's favorite erogenous spots. Why the stomach? Virgos are the organizers of the zodiac, so it's no surprise that they're associated with the digestive system. After a nutritious home-cooked meal, try drawing circles on this earth sign's belly to build tension during sexy foreplay. It's interesting. I wonder what connection they might have there to the solar plexus chakra, which is there in your stomach area in the color yellow. Because I do believe yellow is the color associated with the solar plexus chakra as well. The stages of life for Virgo are the maiden, which is also known as optimistic, the dark maiden, which is known as the reality check, and then in the queen, which is also known as full of grace. The maiden, as you begin life, you tend to embody the idealistic and even naive qualities of the deity Persephone, the goddess of Virgo is based on. While she is youthful, playful, and intelligent, she lacks the ability to see people for who they truly are and to make decisions that are ultimately for her good. She tends to want to see the best in everyone and even often thinks that she can help or fix them as a natural healer. This is what leads to the downward spiral of entering the second phase as you learn that no amount of love can prevent betrayal. Yeah, I learned that shit the hard way. No amount of love can prevent betrayal because, as the angel Gabriel told Daniel, the wicked shall do wickedly, and that is determined it shall be. People gonna do whatever the fuck they want. Period. You can't love nobody enough to change them. You can't love nobody to fix it. You can't pray enough to 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 break somebody's habits for them. But I'm gonna tell you, you better to be naive like this young maiden here than to be like an evil narcissistic asshole. You know, because this at least we're trying to be nice like this person's sowing good karma for themselves as the person who's doing the betraying. The dark maiden A dark maiden is the phase of life where you will face your own darkness, oftentimes having to self isolate, be wary of becoming depressed. Nothing seems to matter much at this point, as all you can see is all that you've lost, all that's been done to you. And no matter how much you try, you can't make sense of the pain that you feel. This is part of your logical nature, trying to understand the lifelong lesson of why bad things seem to happen to good people or why love doesn't always last. Once you learn that life is a balance of both, and that just because there's a risk of being hurt or having difficulties doesn't mean it outweighs the love or beauty that exists, that you will re-emerge as a more understanding person, accepting this version of yourself. Okay, this whole why bad things happen to good people. I'm so fucking tired of hearing people say this shit because okay. First of all, you would only assess a good person by your judgment. You don't really fucking know people. One of the main parts of your life is to get to know yourself. You don't know what the fuck people are thinking, what they're doing when they're not with you. In your humble fucking opinion, which is not God's truth necessarily, people get pissed off at God and be like, why does this good person have to suffer? Okay, you don't know how good that person is or isn't. You just have emotional feelings about how good you believe that person is or isn't. And then you don't know what benefit it may be, God might be in working for that person or other people around them. That sort of angry type of sentiment is above your pay grade. Okay. You need to remember that you are human and part divine, but you are not God. And you ain't even a full angel yet. An angel got better sense than to say things like that. We got to stop being emotional and just given to anger and think we know how shit should go or what should have happened to somebody. And if it doesn't, then we get pissed off at the celestial realm or God as you understand them. Check your fucking anger. Remember who you are and humble yourself. As you're not always going to be here and you don't want to die in some sort of situation in a state of mind where you thought you know better than God. No, you don't. Because God calls the end from the beginning, and true vision is past, present, and future. And you don't know everything about whoever it is you're trying to defend, or even if it's yourself. And you don't necessarily understand everything about their past, present, or future, or your own. Sometimes it's not till later in life that we get new knowledge about shit that happened to us when we were younger, and we don't know what the fuck's going to come up unless you have divine sight. And much of our struggle is to understand what's happening with us now in our life, and we think we have the balls to be mad about something bad well, that we would call bad that happened to somebody that we would call good. We need more humility in the way we go about thinking about things, period. We have to have problems. This is our spiritual workout. It's our mental workout. It is the resistance. You can't go to a gym and lift no fucking weights. You're not gonna gain any fucking strength. You gotta get on a treadmill. You gotta run down the street. You gotta do some primal body movements. You gotta do something in order to generate resistance to activate the things within you to understand, hey, we need to build more muscle here, or we need to lose fat here in order for this body to keep doing this. It works no difference in the spirit world. You need resistance, problems, betrayals, lies, heartbreaks, death. All of these things are resistance, to help us get stronger. That is the purpose of all of this. At least one of the purposes is for our own good. There will be no world where everything's a fucking utopia and everything just flows smoothly, because then there would be no resistance and we wouldn't get stronger. And as much as highly as people think of themselves already, they damn sure wouldn't give a fuck about the divine then, and that wouldn't be good. Again, this is talking about facing darkness. It's interesting how these middle phases often get into this self isolation and facing darkness. People call it dark night of the soul. You got it at some point. Just go through this where you just really begin to question every fucking thing and every fucking one. And you should. Like, we're supposed to question everything and then re-question it. It's not a one-time thing. You should be every now and then you should evaluate yourself. Be like, who am I really? Am I doing the right thing? Let me question my own motives. Not second guessing yourself, but giving yourself an honest look. And not just you, but the people around you, your lovers, your friends, your children, fucking pets, what kind of personality they have, the parents. Everybody in your life, mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, lovers, whatever the fuck you have, are an individual first before they are your blood family, chosen lover, whatever. They're an individual first. And if they're not serving you in that relationship, you cannot write down and quantify this person brings me value because of X, Y, B. You got to let them people go. Or have a serious fucking discussion and engage whether or not any kind of genuine, not fake ass changes to keep you around, but genuine change is possible. But shit, I mean, if I got to ask a motherfucker to change, I mean, it's pretty much a wrap with me all fucking ready, because I shouldn't have to tell you to do what the fuck you should have been doing in the first thing place. There's billions of fucking people in this world. I ain't about to fucking slow down and risk my fucking destiny over no fucking body. Everybody's subject to be fucking cut off. I keep my mom and I keep my two cats. Everybody else in the gauche. Every motherfucking body else is in the gauche. I mean, I don't want to do it, but I fucking have to do it because I'm not about to fuck up my destiny over no fucking human. It's not gonna happen that way. So I want you to ask yourself, is there anybody in your life that you just couldn't bear to be without, to the point that if we be knowing this, if we be fucking knowing if a relationship has run its course or a person has become toxic to us, or if we fucking become toxic to them, the compatibility has to still be there. Is there anybody who you feel like you just can't let go of? Be it parents, be it siblings, be it lovers. Is there anybody who you feel like is beyond the realm of excommunication? If so, I invite you to reassess your point of view on that, because that person is an individual before they're your mother. They're an individual before they're your lover. They're an individual before they're your husband. They're an individual before they're your child. You are an individual before you show up in all these different dynamics to people. We cannot allow our identities to get lost in blood family dynamics, chosen family dynamics. Sometimes we need to cut off chosen family too, because everybody's always changing. The person you're talking to today, including the person in the mirror, won't be the same person next year. It's not the same person tomorrow. We change all the fucking time. And so if you grow apart from somebody and you don't want to let them go, you grow or they stop growing or whatever, you do not want to risk fucking up your soul's purpose and destiny, because the energies you choose to accept will impact you. Because you could have had anybody around you, but you chose those people. We fuse with people at different levels, with the people we have sex with, and our lovers, the closest, we fuse with those people. Best friends and shit like that. When you really spend a lot of time around each other, you fuse with them too. Your family, blood family, chosen family, it therefore redirects your path every day. If you got rid of those people, ever since I cut off every damn body except for my mother and my two cats, I have been motherfucking elevating, growing both internally and without. Everybody's family situation is different. I come from a blood family of fucking narcissistic ass abusive people. Therefore, I cut all the bitches off. I kept my mom. I'd have kept my grandmother. She was still alive. And I kept my two cats. And I just fucking left. I didn't give a damn. I didn't have to explain to motherfucking low vibrational people why I'm leaving. Fuck that. I don't explain anything. I never explained my sexuality to my blood family. And I'm not about to explain myself to no damn body. They don't know who the fuck they are. The fuck I'm gonna explain myself to them for? You got me fucked up. And and I'm not against coming out if that's what you feel like you need to do, but I didn't. I'm all like, if you can't figure out that it's queer over here, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Not that it matters any goddamn way, because I'm not trying to date you. I don't have to explain myself to you. They didn't have to come out straight. I didn't feel like I needed to come out clear. Fuck them. And so, anyway, if there's anybody in your life that you just actually think that you're so emotional about that you could never let them go if the day came, you don't stand in your own strength as much as you think you do. Yeah, you're gonna have to go get counseling and all kinds of shit if you do it, but you'll get over that shit and you'll be happier for it. Ever since I left all of them people in the past behind, I have been elevating, going higher, just stronger and fucking stronger and motherfucking stronger each and every goddamn day. I regret nothing. And then what's the most interesting part is I don't even miss them. I don't feel a void. I can't even quantify what fucking value they held. What it was a habit, a learned pattern, a neural pathway. They were just filling a space that I had got accustomed to because I was born around them. And I guess I thought they should be there. I removed them. And I can't even tell you what the fuck they were doing in the first goddamn place. Like, what the fuck were they purpose? I don't even know. Can't tell you. And so everybody in my life now, I can quantify what the fuck they do, what they bring and while they're here, and I reevaluate that shit from time to time. I'm not going looking for problems, but I know that they change. I change. I even ask people, what value do I bring? I need to know, because if I'm not, either I need to step up and bring more value, or maybe we should have some distance between us, because we can't just be hanging out with each other, consuming oxygen. Like, there needs to be purpose for us choosing to have each other in our lives. And what this is trying to get you to understand is that there's going to come a time where you're going to reevaluate relationships. And when you do, you must be willing to make the necessary decisions, put the processes in place. Some people can walk away from people like physically easily. You don't have money, real estate, children, and shit tied up with people. Some of you, it's going to be a process, but you must do the process. Even if it's little by little. I know so many people who are getting divorced right now. breaking up all this shit, who are getting apartments, who thought they're going to be living with these people forever and ever. And the other person flipped the script, changed some shit that happened. I admire their fucking courage for having the nutsack, the ovaries, the vagina, the strength, or whatever the fuck you got, the gumption, the soul, the gut, the heart, you know, to be like, you know what? I need to leave. I'm gonna go ahead and look at that apartment. It may take me 2 months to look at the apartments, but that's that first step I'm gonna take. It's fucking going around. It's very interesting to me how it seems to go in phases like that with many different people all at the same damn time. It is like the Lord comes through and just detaches and releases people from these narcissistic, abusive attachments. And I watch and I see them go through all the same sadness and the bitterness and the brokenness that I had to go through, something along those lines. I was talking to one of my friends the other day going through that. I was like, I just want to let's commend you for going through the courage, because I see you and the other people going through this being strong while you're out in public. But I know the bitter tears that you're crying alone at night, sobbing, wondering if you wasted time, and you know, why the shit didn't work out, acknowledging your part in it too, you know, as a part of it, but, you know, and then not kicking yourself in the ass over it either, because guilty feelings ain't gonna hurt nobody, you know, moving forward. But I was like, I commend all of you too on your strength. If you're in the process of leaving somebody and the shit just ain't gonna work, or they left you, or what the fuck ever, you gotta move forward. It's fucking difficult to get up, brush your teeth, want to take a bath. You just wanna like pull a 5 of cups and just wallow there in the goddamn sadness, spilling over the 3 cups on the ground. But remembering the 5 of cups card, bitch, you have another two that are still standing upright, and we can build with that. You know, we can build with that. Eh, and then just on the other side of that is your 6 of cups, where you do reevaluate shit and you tap into your inner child and you feel safe and protected again and you take help from people, and everything is going to be all right. So then this brings us to the queen. At this stage, you understand life extraordinarily well. I love that. Extraordinarily well. Yes. You know that while today could be amazing, it doesn't mean that tomorrow won't be racked with challenges. No longer do the difficult moments in life make the beautiful ones irrelevant, though, as you've learned, that everything in life is part of a greater cycle of purpose. You see that it's not things only going well that make life enjoyable, but how everything has its space and always comes together when you least expect it. The joy is supposed to be within you. Like, some people will be like, today was a good day. Well, every day is. And it's not because you're above ground. 'Cause some people have fucking tragic ass existences. And the only joy that people like that can find is in their perspective, because happiness is a state of mind. So, no, I don't think that it's a good day because we're alive. I think it's a good day because we get up and we choose happy. Okay, there's very fucking rich people who are suicidal and fucking miserable. It ain't about money. It's not about possession. It's about a point of view. Happiness is a point of fucking view. It's a state of spiritual being. It's a state of understanding who you are and why you are. And once you have that, it doesn't matter if you have a fucked up credit report or an overdrawn bank account. Look, I've been there with both of those. You happy because you know who you are. You know who your God is. You know your purpose, and you understand that all of these things that humans would call negative are refining you spiritually. If when you grow one day, you won't always have a negative bank account or bad credit, but you're gonna have your priorities straight, and you understand that you're happy because you're fucking happy, because you love God, because you know who you are spiritually, and things of a more intangible nature are why you're happy, and everything else is an extension of that happiness. There is a fucking difference in between that and thinking you need shit to make you happy. It's not the same. Somebody who I'm ex-friends with said some dumb shit like that one day, and I guess I mean that with as much compassion as I can, but sometimes just shit is fucking stupid to me. And I'm like, okay, girl. But I understand everybody's on their path and everything, but this was somebody who just wasn't trying to hear wisdom. So I had to fucking get away from them. And I'll offer people posting me wisdom and wait and see if they do anything with it. And if they don't, deuces, I don't have the time. And And they were like having trouble within themselves and their relationship with their partner. And they were like, well, if we just move and get a new house and everything will be better. And I said, no, you're just going to take your problems with you and fuck up the energy in a totally new fucking place. Like you need to fix your shit now so that when you go to the new place, you bring nice, fresh, beautiful, crisp energy. And I'll even come over there and do a home cleansing and everything, absolutely. And, and make it all nice and pretty energetically for you. But they weren't trying to hear me though. It's- this queen energy here is about understanding that we will go ups through ups and downs. So today could be one of those happy go lucky, every light is green. The shit, they holding the door open for you when you go to get on the train at the MTA. You don't have to fucking pay or skip over the damn rail. Fuck it. We New Yorkers, we all do the damn shit. For fucking half the time the damn MTA take your damn money. Fucking card shit don't work any fucking way. So fuck it. That's just life balancing it all out. You know, weather's great, not a cloud in the sky, but it's not supposed to be that way every damn day. Eventually, you're gonna need something to remind you you need to pray. Because sometimes we have shit go good too long, we'll get distant from God. Subconsciously in our heart, we won't worship Him like we should or pray to Him as strong as we could because it's something about problems that balance us the fuck out. It's a part of that resistance training, that spiritual resistance training. And then when these challenges come, this queen energy here in Virgo is it's just saying, you know what? I get that that's a part of life. I'm just gonna keep my cool, keep this earth energy here and be fucking grounded. We just gonna fucking handle like a motherfucking G. We're gonna be a boss about this shit and not freak out about this shit. Because we understand that this problem's gonna come. We're gonna handle it. And then tomorrow's gonna be a motherfucking another better day. Because we've been through the cycle before. There's no sense in acting brand new and like we haven't done this before. We're gonna have great days and some bullshit's gonna come along. We're gonna handle said bullshit and we're gonna be stronger for it. Ergo the evolution and stages of life. That's about the sum of it to this degree. Capricorn. My moon sign is Capricorn, just to let you know. Dates are December 22nd to January 19th. Popular symbol is the goat. Modality is cardinal. Ruling house is the 10th house of careers and professions. Pay close attention to this because I was just telling you about the sixth house in Virgo, which has to do with the careers and shit that ain't really your bailiwick, so to speak. It's not really the shit you were sent to this earth to do. It's different. So in astrology, the 10th house of the natal chart is ruled by the zodiac sign Capricorn and the planet Saturn. The cusp of the house is additionally called midheaven or MC, standing for medium coeli, which demonstrates the the kinds of profession, I'll just say it like that, that one takes after. For the most part, the entire 10th house is generally about one's career and how they appear to one's colleagues. An individual's standing and reputation in the public eye are to be seen here, as well as their accomplishments in their chosen field. As the 10th house in astrology rules everything that is associated with one's profession, the zodiac sign at the cusp of the house and any planets that are placed within conveys the individual's occupation. Remember that the 10th house isn't the ruler of the brief and odd jobs that one takes to scrape by. It does not rule occupations where you're simply just another worker. Instead, these are issues of the sixth house, which is in Virgo, which we were just talking about. The 10th house is in charge of your vocation in life, your calling, the reason why you fucking on this earth. It brews your cognizant strides towards dealing with something you adore and care for. Energetically speaking, I'm gonna tell you right the fuck now. It's a beautiful thing to go through the trials and tribulations of bullshit ass jobs because it helps to refine you as a human if you let it, and as a soul as you choose to extract the silver lining out of it. And when you come to a point where you are doing something where you fucking know that's why God sent you here, you can look back and compare and contrast and have that strong sense of being. It is a divine resonance to resonate at when you doing what the fuck you know. I mean, your fucking soul know that you were here to do. You do it anyway. Even if you weren't paid for it, you do it. You stay up, you get up early to do it. You would stay up late to do it within balance but you have that drive. It's like no matter how much of it that you do, you damn near don't feel exhausted because it's just in your fucking flow like that. And that's when you know you're doing what the fuck you were here for. You got no fucking complaints about it. You're blissful every damn day you do it. Don't mean it's perfect. It doesn't come with some level of stress, but it's just not looked at negatively because you are right where you're supposed to be in terms of your occupation or the way you spend most of your days. This is what you should be praying for to be led to. The ruling planet is stated as Saturn. The tarot card is the devil. Ugh. It's going to be a deliciously good time when I dig into the devil tarot card. All right. The body part is the skeletal system or the skeletal system, as they used to tell me when I was in massage therapy school. The skeletal system in the knees. So quoting the website post about this, practical as always. Calf are all about those joints, them bones, them thigh bones. Ooh, them bones. As we're getting close to Halloween, I love this. While knees don't strike us as particularly sexy, we're not here to kink shame. There's an easy explanation for this possible predilection. Capricorn is all about structure, which is why this earth sign rules the skeletal system and joints. Since Capricorn is such a boss in their public life, experimenting with reverse power dynamics in bed is an excellent way to bring this sea goat to their knees. So this is your power boss who wants to get like tied up and gagged or maybe put in a cage or humiliated in some kind of kinky ass fetish way. You'll hear them say things like, "Oh my god, I run things all the time. I just want to be dominated," and things like that. Well, fucking go for it. Fuck, I mean, shit, it is what it shit, it is what it is. And it fucking is what it is. The stages of life for Capricorn are the goat, also called goal pursuer, the cave, also called distancing from others. There that is again, that purposeful divine isolation. The horn of plenty, also called successfulness. Well, shit, who wouldn't want a heavy dose of that? Good old successfulness. I speak that for myself and you. The goat, a very independent person early in life. The responsibilities that others ask you to take on eventually feel like they might break you. While you are always able to work for what you want and for what others want, you don't tend to look up a lot during this phase to find out why. Often getting so sidetracked by the goal of success, you often don't always ask yourself what you're working so hard for, or if that success is even what you want. You can be taken advantage of by others who see your hardworking nature and think that means you will work hard for them while they take it easy. Because of this, it's your trust being shattered that will lead you into your introspective second life phase. Hmm. My Capricorn and me shows up like I'll be working on some project or some shit and it's done, but I'm still fucking working on the damn thing. And so I've learned to pull myself back from this because I've become very, very cognizant in particular about time not being, wasted. Like if I'm done with some shit, I'm done with it. I got to pay attention to when the fuck it's over, when to fucking bang the gavel, ring the damn bell, close the fucking book and not keep fucking with shit. I see this a lot in the service industry, and really you can see it on any job where you got these weak ass managers who can't fucking get everybody's asses in line. So they'll keep asking the nice hard worker to keep doing shit. And it's so inherent to their nature that they will keep doing shit, but then it wears them the fuck out. That manager's just trying to look good, get their bonus, get promoted. After you're worn out, they're going to be going on to higher heights, financially speaking, though they've gone low in their soul to abuse and step on you like that. But in any case, they ain't giving a fuck about you. This reminds me of sympathy spells. In witchcraft and dark magic used intentionally to hurt other people, there's such a thing as sympathy spells. This is one of the most cleverest things that I've ever seen. In all of the evil that I have studied that can be done, I don't do. dark magic against people, but I've had a lot of it done against me, and I have studied to learn the ways of the devil so that I can recognize shit when I see it and know how to fight it. So yeah, I study dark magic, but not to fucking do it. And you gotta know your fucking enemy, right? So a sympathy spell, a person will do against somebody who's like this goat, who will just work, be there for you, do anything, give you all the things without asking anything in return, and just are focused on presenting value to people, probably deriving a lot of self-full, which is not a negative thing, self-full, which is not like selfish, but self-full value out of the good feelings that come from doing good for other people. There's nothing wrong with that. But a sympathy spell will play on this in you and make you go harder and further than you normally would have, even with your normal sympathetic self. It'll make you feel sorry for people more than what you would have. And ultimately, they're going to drain your financial resources, your mental resources, your energetic resources. And basically, a sympathy spell is a way to control a motherfucking person who's too damn nice by taking advantage of that niceness. So, see, in dark magic, whatever is weak in a person or whatever can be exploited or is exploitable is what you exploit. So if you're dealing with an alcoholic, a dark person is gonna make you more alcoholic, or a drug addict is gonna make you more of a drug addict. Or for somebody who can't control their sexual side, they'll make you fucking more of a hoe. And but all of that comes so natural to you, your sex. You won't be thinking that you're doing it too much, even though you fucking are. It's just like a hard worker won't think they're overworking themselves, even though they fucking are. Or a nice sympathetic person won't ever fucking think that they're being overly sympathetic, because in their head, not until the light comes on in their head, they won't ever think they're being overly sympathetic. That's in their head. It's natural to them. It's a nice thing to do. And who wouldn't want to be sympathetic? But when you come into fucking balance, you understand that any goddamn thing can be done too much. You can fucking go to church too much. You can read the Bible too much. You can you can even pray too much, in my opinion, to the point that it's just insincere. Like, not in a giving, like Jesus said it, like you shouldn't pray for the sake of being heard or for much words. You gotta pray. Like, I pray 3 times a day, but I won't, like, say, pray at 9 o'clock AM, then at 10 AM, then at 11 AM just to get it out of the way. I space it out, and I wait till I feel called to the 2nd and 3rd prayer. Sometimes I might get caught up in something and I don't. Oh, well, God gets it. My general temperament, my general modus operandi and habit is to pray 3 times a day, and he accepts that. But it's gotta feel real, like I really got something new to say or something I wanna come to you for. I'm not just doing it for the sake of fucking doing it. And so these spells people cast against the nicest of us are fucking vile to their core, like any dark magic used to hurt somebody is. But a sympathy spell is a motherfucker of a spell because it just seems so natural. It's not like they made you do something that was just completely outside of your character. And that's why you gotta really, really pay attention to how you feel when you're around people and get this shit out of your head, echoing what I said earlier. Like, there's absolutely nobody who you could ever think would let you need to let go of. You just don't know. I have seen children work dark magic against their own fucking mother. Okay, because she had money and the kids were jealous and blah, blah, blah. I have a girl. Who was that? Deborah Cox said, "There's a stranger in my house." Took a while to motherfucking figure out. Ain't no way you could be who you say you are. You gotta be a motherfucking somebody else. Y'all better know. I don't wish this upon you, but this is one of the way that Lucifer works. Sometimes your own fucking worst enemy are your children, or your parents, or your sister, your brother, or your blood family, and it can be your chosen family too. David said in the Hebrew Bible, because he had problems with his blood family too. He said, "I could have taken, this abuse, this assault, this all this shit happened to me that was from an enemy, but this problem came from within the people of my own house." It's a bitter fucking pill to swallow, but you got to pay attention to how you feel, because you will be uneasy around somebody who's casting magic against you. But you got to know how to tune into yourself to hear yourself like that. Be careful with people who want to come up. The people working against you, they'll tend to want to do all this rubbing and shit on you. That's how they strengthen their spells against you. That doesn't mean everybody who wants to give you a pat on the back or a hug is wicked, but for me, when somebody did that to me fucking once, it felt like this strange damn tingling sensation and shit, and it was just fucking awkward, and I felt uncomfortable as shit, and it was like a whole ass fucking it was just nasty, and I didn't like it at all. You know, you just gotta really, really be prayerful. That's why we gotta get close to God. You can't run around paranoid. You just do your fucking prayers. You read your Bible, you get to know God, because the word of God is there to work us out of problems. But you can't be so naive that you think that nobody in your family would ever hurt you. We don't go looking for it or hoping for it, but if the shit presents itself, we don't sit there and try to talk ourselves out of the fucking proof or out of what we know to be true. And we don't sit there and negotiate with evil ass people. Fuck that. Just because they're your blood family don't mean you need to stay in a relationship with them. There's none of this. We're family, so we always stay together. No, you fucking don't. Mother, father, sister, brother, best friend, bestie, all that are earned titles. Just like if your ass got a job, you got to always fulfill the bullet points of that job description. If you don't, your ass get fired. It's just that damn simple. There's no simple than father, mother, sister, brother. You don't get like the crown or that title once and you just hold it for life no matter how bad you fuck up. The fucking hell with that. They motherfucking asses fuck up, they motherfucking get fired. It's just that damn simple. Because if you don't, then you put yourself in a position of gargantuan disadvantage. Go cry your fucking tears and move the fuck on from these damn ratchet ass people. The cave is the second part. Because of your lack of trust in other people, you go into a phase of isolation where you cut off most and try to avoid relationships. Of course, this isn't the way to master or learn anything, but you don't know this right away and think that your avoidance of love and life is you being all the wiser. During this phase, you tend to find that great career success as you throw yourself into your job because often that is what you feel like you can control versus personal relationships. And I've been there. Eventually, though, you become lonely and begin to learn that work isn't enough, that the reward of love is always worth risk. It's not about avoiding love forever, but taking a pause of stepping away from sex, dating, and romance to sort yourself out intentionally is true. You will know when it's time to reemerge and to get back in the game. After you know thyself and you love thyself, I stopped having sex for the best shit. Since like last year, like around the middle of last year, like any kind of like meaningful anything that I would count happened, and then I just, started back allowing myself to, like, date and stuff like that. What is this, September? I probably had, like, sex, like, maybe, like, April, May, maybe June of last year, and, just fucking wasn't worried about it. I couldn't fucking heal and be in my own energy and be in other people's energy like that. Not with the deep sort of work that I wanted to get done, that I wanted a true fucking deliverance. And actually, I was actually serious about getting over my problems and having sex was not on my fucking priority list. It takes time, energy, and you dealing with other people's karma and all this shit when you fuse with them sexually. And I was in Louisiana at the time, and them dudes down there ain't they just so energetically far beneath me, and I don't mean that arrogantly, just is what it fucking is. Like, these dudes appear on a whole other different vibration. However, I don't fuck with everybody up here in New York either. I'm very fucking particular. And so there's like mm, maybe 2 people I kind of have my eyes on in that way, but I'm not in no damn rush, with no motherfucking body. But you will know when it's time. Once you've done your inner child work and your healing, who gives a damn how long it takes? I'm meeting more and more young ass fucking people like my age and below who have also stepped away from sex. You're like, you know what? Mm-mm. We taking a pause for a moment. It's not even worth all that. People are hopping off of dating apps and sex apps. What is it? They're called like sex app or dating app fatigue is happening and shit like that. And people are just like tired of the bullshit. They didn't let themselves been worn out by all of this crazy ass sex, all this shit. they done had. They always fucking karma to deal with. And for what? Your inner child ain't no fucking further better. They worse than they were before. You got all this other trauma and abuse from all the gaslighting and the abuse that the people do to you on these fucking apps, all them weird ass energies from swiping. The energy flows through phones too. Energy is doesn't it's not bound by fucking distance or mode of transfer, be it a picture. That's why psychic, some of us have the gift, and I can pick up a picture and look at a person I've never met before and tell you all about them. It doesn't matter. Like there's energy in every fucking thing. This is just about how sensitive you are to it or not. But unless you are like a eunuch or somebody who's in some religious way sworn to celibacy, you are going to want to connect to people eventually. You don't have to do it every damn day, and you don't have to make a god out of it. Like some people make such a big, huge fucking deal out of dating and sex. Some people ain't never been single since they started dating in high school. They go from one fucking relationship to another. And them 2, 3 weeks you spend single don't fucking count. You gotta go like a while being single to really integrate the lessons and to hear yourself and everything. Some people are straight up strung out and addicted to dating. And I say it all the time. Anything you can't stop for a year besides breathing and fucking eating and drinking water, that means, you're gonna wear clothes and it needs somewhere to live. But I mean, maybe would any of you go live in a homeless shelter for a year to see if you could cut it? I can't remember the name of that damn movie. I think it was like with Joe Pesci or something like that. It's like he got tested somehow to see if he could take living on the streets, I think for like 5 days or some shit like that. But anything you can stop for a year, like alcohol, drugs. I'm not talking about if you actually need it for your mental health, like for real, sex, a sex app. If you can't stop that for like a year, you have an addiction. If you have a codependency for damn sure. Whether you want to admit it or not, I would pray that you do. But anything you can command, boo, it commands you. Anything you cannot command commands you. And that's just the way that it is. But eventually, we can't let ourselves avoid love either, because then we're operating from a place of pain. And then we also don't want to get into a space where we become anti-monogamy because we got fucked over trying to be monogamous, and then we become poly as a trauma response to what happened in monogamy. Now, if you're just naturally poly and you're doing it due to an abundance of love flowing out of you for people, and you just really got that much fucking of you to go around and you won't feel drained, and you can really honor the divinity in each person and use your sex wisely with each person, establish boundaries, and you've done your soul work, and your child is healed. Okay, great. But if you just a hoe and you looking for a bunch of people to sleep with, then that's fucked up. All right. But or if you're trying to be poly and you've got an agitation in you towards monogamy, then you might want to question why. There's no need in being angry and avoidant of monogamy because of something that happened. Monogamy is just as valid as polyamory. I don't hate one or prefer the other. It's about what God wants me to do in any given moment. I can code switch into both. I can paint with all the colors of the way, and I suggest you learn to do so too. And to be aware if you're harboring any resentment towards anything, because you could have set up a mental construct, say in this example, where you're like, fuck monogamy, so I'm gonna go be poly, but you can't do that. But you should not do anything on this hand out of anger at something on this hand. You're supposed to do it just because that's the fuck you really want to do. And you prayed about it and it's coming from a genuine, pure space. But sometimes I see people who are in these poly circles who seem to be angry at the very mention of the word monogamy. And in that moment, I can see that they're really nursing some unresolved agitation about something. And this is not good to just leave that lingering like that. So I need you to search and find what you're bitter about and why you think loving one person is so constraining or so restricted. And it's not. Loving one person can still feel like freedom, because freedom is a state of mind. Because a polyamorous person, if their intentions aren't right, can fuck around and become a prisoner to all of those different options out there. They can become a prisoner emotionally. They can become a prisoner spiritually. Because if your intention's not right, then you're not gonna balance all those energies right. Because everybody you sleep with, you fuse with, and you have to be strong enough to not get lost in that. And if you're there out of really low key, subtle, subliminal anger at some shit you ain't resolved from when you try to be monogamous or something you witnessed in monogamy, or if you saw your parents try to be monogamous and they cheated and it didn't work out, then don't that's not the proper motivation to go throw yourself into polyamory. You know, huh? Okay. And then you also want to be careful about, mm, Lord Jesus, I'm gonna say this, like you want to be careful about if you're in polyamorous spaces, like I keep telling you, you got to be reevaluating your relationships. Them too, they will change. Everybody will change. It's just about you like, being aware of those changes. Don't let people change up under your nose and you're not paying attention. Because you don't think you're just meeting up with somebody to sleep with them every now and then. And that person isn't going through evolutions. Yes, they are. If you're living in a house with somebody and you got some kind of sexual or quasi-sexual relationship, people be setting up all kinds of fucking relationships with people. It's kind of like unreal. But very much of it isn't a full fucking commitment. It's like a partial commitment or a kind of sort of arrangement or a situationship. It's like there's so much fear that I also detect in a lot of polyamory. And it's like I wonder if some people are poly because they're just fucking afraid of fully throwing themselves into one person or throwing yourselves into one person to the extent that one can. Because I saw in a dream that I had, and God was showing me how we were really it's like it was almost like the two people were intertwined, like two trees or branches or something like that, like just spiraled around each other. He was explaining to me that you only really get 75% of a person in a relationship. The other 25% is them. And so we don't really get the whole person. Nobody can own any damn body anyway, and we'll never fully know a person. And so that's beautiful. But I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if poly, some of these people with these wrong and bad, fucked up intentions for being poly are just fucking really afraid. And I wonder if their whole point of being in a polycule or being polyamorous is one big old ass fear and trauma response. The mind is capable of very intricate and complex things. And that a person like that will meet you and probably to the best of their knowledge tell you the truth that they're all honest and genuine and they just really want to be poly and they find you attractive. And they're not gonna say, "And I'm here because I'm hurt and I have unresolved issues from monogamy past." So you gotta know how to but all that energy is gonna track back to you. You gotta know how to really fucking question people about who they are, what they've been through, what they've learned, why they wanna be poly, why they wanna be monogamous, and I suppose it could work in the reverse too. If somebody had a fucked up poly experience, and not every polyamory experience is all Pollyanna, pun intended. It ain't all glamorous. That don't get reported on that all that often, like the bad shit that happens in polyamorous relationships. Oh, yes, it does. But a person could also run back to monogamy because they had a bad fucking polyamorous experience. So we gotta fucking question people down and not just be like attracted to them and be all flurry and fluffy emotion. We gotta find out who the fuck people are and what's really fucking making them tick, tock. Okay. We can't be getting caught up with that because that energy is all there. So I was talking with somebody who has a relationship with somebody who they known for like many, many years. They consider it their closest relationship, and this person was saying every time they tried to get close to other people, those relationships didn't last, or those people had a problem with this person who they consider to be closest. And I explained to them, well, that doesn't make any sense because you're contradicting yourself in this moment because the whole purpose of you, as far as what I understand from you so far, and you wanting to be all poly and free and footloose, and you don't want to be bound by this and that, and so on and so forth. You just admitted that you're basically bound by this person who you won't marry. You're not in a full on committed relationship with them, yet they got their people on the side, and you have no one serious in your life, but they do, and you still calling this person so close. I'm like, you low key like in prison with this person, and yet you claim to be all free and poly. so, so I was like, yeah, the person couldn't say anything because it was the fucking truth. And and I told them either fucking. cut the bullshit, you and this person, and get married or make that motherfucking shit official, or you need to set some goddamn boundaries with this person and go get your motherfucking life with somebody else and be done with it. I don't give a damn how long you've known them. And this is like 10, 20 years or some shit. They've been doing this bullshit with this person. And I don't give a damn how long you've known them. If the shit isn't what it was, it is not serving you today. You need to shit to get off the pot. You do something with it, excommunicate, change the dynamics up, flip the goddamn mattress table over. But people, don't let yourself get into these lulls, into these repeating patterns that don't make any fucking sense anymore. Like, like, what, why, who are you? Why are you at any given moment? Why is any fucking body in your life constantly reassess the value that somebody is bringing? I mean, critique that shit high. You are worth respect. You are worth clear boundaries. You are worth knowing the truth. And some people can't give you the truth because they don't know it. Or you got to get the skill set to extract that shit or extract the delusions they have set up in themselves from them. Because if you're gonna be poly like that, all that sex all your sexual partners are having is gone. That has to a degree an impact on you. Because I haven't talked to really anybody yet who's poly. Yeah, I've maybe talked to a few witches, but most people have very vague spirituality. And connecting with the earth is a powerful thing, but that the earth ain't God. Heaven is God's throne and earth is his footstool. This does not carry the strength of the Lord. And so without spiritual boundaries and spiritual protections in place, you put yourself at great spiritual risk by being poly like that. And so you really, really gotta sort that out. Let me move on to this horn of plenty because I could be here all day. See, because I'm doing what I was born to do. I absolutely love this. And no, I don't get paid to do this podcast. I pay for all of this myself because I fucking love it. The horn of plenty. Life, I think I may have seen this representing Capricorn one fucking time. That damn, the cornucopia like you see for Halloween. I am such a year-round Halloween goth boy. You have no fucking idea. Thank Friendsgiving, because fuck Thanksgiving, goddamn colonizers. But the harvest, we'll just say the cornucopia represents the harvest, that long horn looking thing with all the fucking squash and leaves and veggie tables and shit pouring out of it. That's when our cup run is over, y'all. We about to turn the fuck up. The harvest is ripe. And we gonna go out here and glean this shit. And it's about to be a motherfucking party up in this biznatch. And so the horn of plenty, life is full. And oh my God, this just represents like that abundance. Oh my God. Mm. Being full and having plenty, more than enough for you and others is what this is all about. Let me read this though. Life is full as you enter this stage of your life, both feeling successful in your career and in love. It feels as if you truly are rich in all areas of life. You now understand the value of hard work, but also require those in your life to do the same because you now understand that it's important to have your needs met too. Period. Period. Your idea of success has transformed by this phase, and you are able to look at the bigger picture and see that if something isn't working, it's for the best because it means something better is out there for you. And this enables you to focus your time and energy more wisely so that you now are only working on those things that truly matter to you. So we've gone from being the goat to the horn of plenty. The goat was just working because they like to work and they just were in that flow. Now in the horn of plenty, we're working, but we're more focused with it. We're more pinpoint. We're going to do this work, but we're only going to do it with this person, with that person, with this person, not that person, because the energy is not right over there. That won't fucking do. We're really, really screening motherfuckers out, and screening quote unquote opportunities out to see if they're true opportunities. We're not going to work for that company. We won't collaborate with that social media influencer. We won't hire that employee. We won't or hire that would be employee, or we won't renew this contract. We're always evaluating shit on what it is right now. And this is how we keep a plentiful energy in our life because we won't let foul and fell energies in. And the sun card in the tarot, where you got that naked baby with the fucking flower wreath in his head with a red feather sticking out, riding on that white horse. That's basically me inside all the time. I'm a naked ass little boy riding around with my dick swinging and shit like that. I really fucking enjoy my life. I do. But that kid in the sun card in the tarot, which many consider to be the most optimistic card in the deck, some would argue the Wheel of Fortune or other cards like that, but there's a wall behind that naked kid on that horse, and they had sunflowers coming up from that wall. That wall, okay, is there to keep bullshit out. That wall is a fucking boundary. After the work done, especially as you lead up in the tarot, as the moon card comes before the tarot, and before that, you had like the Temperance and the fucking Tower and the Devil and all of that shit. After all of that bullshit, we're gonna build this fucking wall. Then we're gonna let that sunshine. We're gonna keep that shit from the past where the fuck it is. That's called boundaries, bitch. And here in this horn of plenty, you understand fucking boundaries. You have true success, and the most success is in your point of view, in your perspective, and the way you approach the things that influence you, which are your fucking relationships. It matters just as much what city you choose to live in, because every city has an energy to it. Didn't realize that till I moved to New York. When I was in Louisiana the other week for 2 weeks, but when the fucking plane landed, I felt so fucking heavy and pissed off that I was in Louisiana. I had to give myself a damn pep talk to fucking get happy again because the energy in Louisiana is so goddamn, or at least in Baton Rouge, yuck. It's just fucking just ugh. When I flew back to New York, I felt my soul lighten, again, because it matters. Like if the collective energy is a racist and homophobic and overeating and speaking negative and full of STDs and wild, that shit affects a city. Everything is energy, everything is spirit. Up here when people are walking around all the time instead of driving, all that kinetic energy that we stir up here raises our vibration and shit. Yeah, you still got hoes up here and shit like that, but we eat fucking healthy. You got fucking fresh fruit stands on damn near every fucking corner, it seems like in Manhattan. For some reason, that doesn't get showed like on the movies like ever, but that shit's fucking cheap. It is so goddamn cheap. Like I can get a whole eggplant, a whole big ass eggplant sometimes for like $1 or 2, or they'll just give me the damn thing. I get a whole week's worth of fruit for like 12 fucking dollars. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, bananas, oranges, apples. I don't ask questions about where this fucking shit comes from. It's not my goddamn business. Somehow they are able to operate and this shit is cheaper than the grocery stores. And they always got somebody there buying shit from them. Period. Period. But the energies you accept matter. The city, coworkers, yeah, you kinda don't have a choice in that shit. I mean, you don't have to choose to work there, but family, friends, lovers, yeah, every fucking thing influences you. And this Horn of Plenty phase, you fucking understand that. And you not having no type of nonsense from no goddamn body. If you hold on to bullshit ass people, you will not be allowed to ascend to your third phase of your zodiac because you don't deserve it. If you don't, I don't mean that harshly, but why should the divine reward you with your final stage of evolution in spiritual and celestial bliss if you're willing to sacrifice it over a person? Why the fuck should you have it? This is not because the celestial realm is not going to bend to you because you were put here not to serve people, but to serve the divine. And then you serve people through the divine as the divine gives you guidance. And the divine is guiding you to let people go who won't grow, no matter who the fuck they are. Because in this Horn of Plenty, you require balance. You require people to work hard for you too. And you might have variations in what that looks like. Because with me and all of my relationships, all of my lovers, friends, whatever, is about balance. It does not mean that they need to do the same damn thing that I did, but it needs to feel balanced. And sometimes they might not need to do anything at all. So they just might want to do some shit, and that's fine. But that's not the normal mode of operation. Eventually, they'll come back around with something You know, like we're so balanced, like we don't necessarily all even have to tell each other thank you every time, though we usually do. But we know how thankful and how full of gratitude we are that more often than not, even though we do say thank you more often than not, if we slip up and don't from time to time, nobody trips about it because our demeanor, our mannerisms, our vibrations are still very thankful and full of gratitude. Very, very, very like that, very gratitudinous. And the focus here on work is on working on things that truly matter to you, relationships that truly matter. So in this phase, you're not a hoe. You're not just running around sleeping with whoever. You're not on sex apps and things like that. You're not even going to share your body. You might be poly, but every person you're sleeping with truly matters to you. That's how I approach it. You know, if I'm gonna be polyamorous, I'm gonna have some type of relationship with everybody who I'm sharing my body with. They have to matter to me. We have to have spiritual conversations. We have to meet up to do things other than sex. You know, we have to like actually hang out. Then maybe they might become a husband or a wife one day or whatever the case might be. But but there's none of this. We just meet for sex. Mm-mm. And I would never ever reduce somebody to that immature FWB acronym people say. I won't even say such a low vibrational uh, bullshit because it's just silly to me to reduce one of God's celestial children to like a transactional sexual thing. Trying to devalue the high magic ritual that sex is absolutely foolish to me. And people seem to not understand just how much hurt they're doing to themselves in the process and how much karma, bad, terrible fucking karma will have to reap for that. But so in this case, they're choosing everything selectively, making sure it carries depth and value. Every lover, every friend, every person they do business and make money with, every person they do magic rituals with, every person they fucking choose to take a trip with, everything is considered and calculated. Does this matter? What values here? What would be the energetic and spiritual implications be for me accepting this person into my life? Have they changed? Are they still who they were? Are they better? Did they decline? Are we still compatible? Rather than just running off with whomever to have an experience. Can't you not see how different that fucking is? Because the experience is going to happen. This here is about making sure the shit has the depth and value, won't leave you drained and dragging and regretting it on the back end. How many people do you know, including yourself, have run off to have an experience and then just felt fucking pissed? You ever see people miserable on vacation, then had sex, now you got a whole ass disease to deal with? Or somebody that witched you, done some fucking dark magic on your ass during sex, and now you got a fucking mental issue you didn't have fucking before because of what they did to you while you were having sex, thinking you were having an experience. Ugh. Have you experienced eating food that you tasted good, but somebody put something in it and it made you sick? You know, so we gotta like, really be careful that we have depth to everything. So my prayer for you is that you evolve from being shallow, naive, and willing to live life for the basis of sensual sensationalism and feelings and experiences and evolve to a point where you live life for the deep, for soul, for meaning. That way you can extract true joy out of life and stop letting Lucifer seduce you with cheap, shallow thrills, giving you Big Macs and Whoppers when you should have had caviar and fucking scallops and shrimp or whatever the fuck you consider to be decadent. Stop getting full on bullshit when you're supposed to be getting full on the best shit. Again, the website is sexdrugsandjesus.com. YouTube channel is Sex, Drugs, and Jesus Podcast. The next time I see you, we'll be talking about air signs. Tonight I wore my earth tones here for you, along with this brown arm cuff here, just to like give a little chromotherapy, a little color, energy vibes to match what we're talking about. I'll probably do white, maybe a feather in my earring if I remember it to bring in this air energy next time. The air signs deal with like our intellect and mind a lot in the zodiac. And so, I mean, in the tarot and also in the zodiac. So we will be talking about our air signs next time. I love you all. I hope you can see that in these words and that you have accepted them in love, even though I come across strong. Well, I am strong. And so, but, but I love strong too. And so I pray your improvement. Please share this with somebody. Go back and listen to it again, or read through these websites that I've listed in the show notes, or read through this on your own. Don't just take my word and, and, and for it, do your own research, because God knows there is an ocean of knowledge on all of this. I would think nobody knows it all, and information can always be added, so, and shit, or adjusted, because they do be like changing planetary associations of some of this from time to time. I mean, like every century or so or some shit like that, but still, it's not a locked and solid thing. So go through it, see what the spirit tells you about these zodiac signs and what you get about yourself from the divine. God don't just talk to me. He'll talk to you too if you open your ears, and God speaks to you in all kinds of ways. There's an eighth chakra called the ear chakra, and that one has to do more with like spiritual hearing and hearing like subtle messages and things. And when you read, being able to, in my opinion, it should apply to reading too, with being able to detect spiritual messages, kind of like between the lines, so to speak, hearing the things in different tones, of course, hearing from heaven, probably ancestors and angels too. So pray your eighth chakra be open to, and look it up online and read up on like that eighth chakra, so that you can have a stronger connection with God. My whole purpose is to get you to a stronger connection with God, or the divine, okay, as you want to call it, although I only talk about God, but you work this around however you need to improve. Because I can't be a savior. I can only teach you so much and present to you options and present to you knowledge, but go to God for yourself. Take that divine intentional isolation time and pray, because the times are going to come where you need that. So store all of these prayers and fasting and scripture study and whatever else you can do. Walk in nature with God. Store it up when you don't need it. Of course, you always need it. But when disaster happens and problems come, you know that it's there. It's there for you. You got to make preparations ahead of time before disaster comes. We need to walk and talk with God peaceful days and in the bad days. Always keep constant flow. Stay in constant communion with the divine. Don't ever let that go. I will talk to you next time. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and for taking some time to invest into yourself and into the lives of your loved ones. Please visit us at sexdrugsandjesus.com and check out our resource page, our spiritual service offerings, my blog, my books, and other writings that God has partnered with me to create. Find us on any social media platform. Stay strong, my people, and just remember that everything is going to be all right.